In the theater of modern digital sovereignty, few performances have been as compelling as the legal battle between TikTok and the United States government. This is not merely a tale of corporate regulation or national security. It is a profound meditation on the nature of freedom, security, and increasingly blurred lines between state power and individual liberty in our digital age. The paradox of protection. The prosecution's stance, championed by the U.S. government, presents us with what I would call the security paradox. They argue that to protect freedom, we must restrict it. To preserve democracy, we must potentially limit its expression. This position rests upon a foundation of potential harm, a philosophical construct that raises interesting questions about the nature of preemptive action in a democratic society. The government's argument is built upon three pillars of concern: the specter of data vulnerability, the potential for algorithmic manipulation, the shadow of foreign influence. Yet here lies the first philosophical tension. How do we measure the weight of potential against the concrete? The prosecution operates in the realm of the possible, while the defense stands firmly in the domain of the present. The defense's existential challenge. TikTok's defense presents us with what might be termed an existential argument. They posit that their very being, their existence as a platform, is fundamentally inseparable from the rights and freedoms they enable. It's a fascinating inversion of the traditional corporate defense strategy, one that aligns the company's interests with fundamental human rights. Their argument rests on several profound assertions. That digital expression in the modern age is inseparable from physical expression. That platforms themselves have become extensions of human consciousness and creativity. That nationality-based restrictions on technology represent a new form of discrimination. The dance of data. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of this legal battle is how it forces us to confront our relationship with data. The prosecution speaks of data as if it were a tangible asset, something that can be stolen or weaponized. The defense treats it as something more ethereal, the natural byproduct of human expression and interaction. This dichotomy reveals a deeper truth about our modern existence. We have yet to develop a coherent philosophical framework for understanding what data truly is. Is it property? Is it expression? Is it a form of human consciousness externalized into digital space? The question of evidence. The most striking philosophical tension in this case lies in the nature of evidence itself. The prosecution argues for action based on potential risks, while the defense demands proof of actual harm. This creates what I would call the security evidence paradox. If we wait for evidence of harm, it may be too late to prevent it. If we act without evidence, we may cause unnecessary harm through our preventive measures. This is not merely a legal question, but a fundamental philosophical one. How do we balance the need for security with the requirement for evidence in a democratic society? The global implications. As we delve deeper into this case, we find it serves as a mirror reflecting larger truths about our global digital society. The tension between national sovereignty and global connectivity. The challenge of maintaining democratic values in an interconnected world. The increasing difficulty of separating technology from human expression. The cultural dimension. Beyond the legal arguments lies a deeper cultural question. Has TikTok become more than just a platform? Has it evolved into a form of cultural infrastructure? The defense's argument suggests that banning TikTok would be akin to demolishing a public square, not just removing a communication tool, but destroying a space where culture itself is created and shared. The economic paradox. The case also presents us with an economic paradox. The prosecution argues that economic considerations must be secondary to security concerns, while the defense positions economic harm as a form of cultural and social harm. This raises a profound question. In our interconnected world, can we separate economic freedom from personal freedom? The technological sovereignty question. At its core, this case forces us to confront a fundamental question about technological sovereignty. Can we maintain truly national boundaries in a digital world? The prosecution's position suggests we must try, while the defense argues that such attempts are both futile and harmful. Looking forward, as we reflect on this legal battle, we must acknowledge that it represents more than just a conflict between a company and a government. It is a crucible in which our understanding of freedom, security, and identity in the digital age is being tested and reformed. The outcome of this case will likely set precedents not just for how we regulate technology, but for how we understand the relationship between national security and individual liberty, digital rights and physical rights, cultural expression and technological platforms, global connectivity and national sovereignty. Conclusion: the philosophical reckoning. This case ultimately forces us to confront several uncomfortable truths about our modern existence. The impossibility of absolute security in an interconnected world. The increasing difficulty of separating national interests from global ones. The challenge of maintaining democratic values while addressing legitimate security concerns. As we watch this legal drama unfold, we must remember that we are not just observers but participants in a grand experiment that will help define the nature of freedom and security in our digital age. The TikTok case is not just about a social media platform. It is about who we are becoming as a society and what we value most in our increasingly complex digital world. The dance between security and freedom continues, and we are all, willing or not, part of this intricate choreography. The question that remains is not just whether TikTok will survive this challenge, but what kind of digital future we want to create for ourselves and future generations.